A Christmas Carol in 3 dimensions. Okay, so just FYI, I might talk about the plot a little more than usual when reviewing this one. However, to be fair, if you don't know the plot of arguably the most beloved holiday classic of all time, then this movie's probably about you, you humbug bastard. Okay, so I've seen a lot of renditions of A Christmas Carol. Some great, some good, some just okay. It's safe to say that The Christmas Carol is probably my favorite holiday story. And since you're wondering, my favorite version so far is probably Bill Murray's Scrooged. I don't know, I'll have to stew on it more. I'll get back to you on that. But for my money, George C. Scott owned the role of Scrooge. But it seems that there's a new version of A Christmas Carol that comes out every year in the form of some made-for-TV movie. So it was really cool to see the Charles Dickens classic brought back to the big screen. And it's easy to jump right into because the plot is exactly how it's always been. Bitter, old Ebenezer Scrooge hates Christmas, people, and pretty much everything. Except money. Tuppence is tuppence. So on Christmas Eve, his dead partner Jacob Marley comes to him and says, yeah, you pretty much need to change your life so you don't end up like me. So let's put it this way, Scrooge. You ever seen that show Scared Straight? Yeah, we're gonna do that to you. Well, technically speaking, 3 ghosts are gonna do that to you, but you have a good one tonight, buddy. Have fun. Peace. And so that night, he's visited by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future to show him the errors of his past, how they've led to his sad state in the present, how he's affecting the people around him, and what will happen if he doesn't change his ways. A lesson I'm sure we'd all be so lucky to have. For the most part, I like their take on the spirits, but Christmas past is kind of funny though. Christmas present and Christmas future are pretty much the same in anything you're ever going to see them in ever. But Christmas past changes every time between version to version. He or she is either really happy and playful like a child, or straight up a creepy, methed out, elvish man-child version of the Human Torch.
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Yep, in this version we get that second one. Honestly, this ghost reminded me of that creepy serial killer vibe coworker that everyone knows at least one of in the workplace if he got high on opiates one day and lit his head on fire, and talks like the Candy Mountain unicorns from Charlie the Unicorn. But after that, we get the ghost of Christmas present. Present has always been my favorite. He's crazy, eccentric, absent-minded. He's jolly, kind of like Santa. In that nitrous oxide kind of way. Just like the present, he's chaotic, unpredictable, and very short-lived. And after he and Scrooge see that most people that Scrooge knows thinks he's an absolute douche in the present, Scrooge moves on to the ghost of Christmas future, who is straight up the Grim Reaper. Or maybe the Nazgul from Lord of the Rings on account of the black horses of death with the beady red eyes that he has in this version. Which ultimately just serve as a chase sequence in this rendition of the story. Which now brings me to things that I thought were cool in this version, but kinda long-winded. I don't know, maybe I'm just a purist when it comes to this story. But there are sequences like the ringwraith horses chasing Scrooge that I thought looked cool in 3D, and it's clearly made for 3D, it's a total 3D showcase, but I just thought they were a little unnecessary. Now granted, the story's been done a zillion times before, so you gotta throw something new in the mix. But for me, I thought the 3D was new enough. Like in this chase sequence, for example, I remember thinking to myself, okay, this is cool, this looks cool, but after a few minutes, you start thinking to yourself, alright, now you're clearly cutting into precious dialogue time. And also with Christmas present, at the point where he's like, alright, let's go, grab my robe. And I just remember it taking a really long time from the moment Scrooge grabbed his robe to when they actually arrived at their destination. Again, I really like the effect they did for them traveling, I just thought it took a really long time. And if you like A Christmas Carol for the dialogue, these 3D showcase scenes might just seem a little long and winded for you. Christmas Past was okay. When they traveled, it was meant just to show off the 3D, but it seemed really fast and just really cool, so it didn't bother me. I'm just still trying to find the intended metaphor on having an old man flying with a flaming opiate meth head. Oh, it's a code. But what brought it home for me was this one scene that I don't remember seeing in any other rendition of A Christmas Carol. Maybe it's out there, I don't remember seeing it though. And it's a scene where Bob Cratchit comes face to face with Scrooge. And Cratchit can't see him, and Scrooge knows it. But Cratchit looks up, and he makes eye contact with Scrooge. But it was just so convicting for Scrooge. You just saw it. That scene was badass. Bravo to that scene. In the end, I thought A Christmas Carol was a great rendition of a classic Christmas story starring Jim Carrey. Unlike something else. The 3D was great, and the story definitely lives on to make us feel like Christmas is upon us once again. Yeah, so what? I have a soft spot for those movies that pull at my holiday heartstrings. But if you are officially done with Halloween and you're ready to start feeling like Christmas is right around the corner, then this movie is a must. So go see A Christmas Carol, you'll be glad you did.